Hi folks, back again, Bathrobe Chronicles, and I'm not sure what number it is. And this is, most likely won't be posted, as I often say. I'm using a new camera. It's a little tiny Kodak. I have a larger Kodak, an X1.8 or Z1.8 or ZI.8 or whatever it is that I've been using. And that has the external mic, which is kind of cool. This one I bought sort of on a whim. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I live in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and today is Sunday. I'm not sure if it's the 27th or 28th, I can't remember. But anyway, Hurricane Irene just came through here, and in fact it was raining up until a few hours ago. But I think, I guess, hey, look at that. You see the helicopter? I don't know what I'm doing here, I'll tell you. Anyway, so I thought this would be a good day to try out the camera and also to see if there's, to what extent there's damage. When the hurricane started up the coast, the weather folks said, I think it was going to be a Category 3 or, I don't know, or something. I mean, the winds were going to be sustained at like well over 100 miles an hour. I think what we ended up with, and I'm not really sure, excuse me, is I think we ended up with winds of at least 80 miles an hour. And man, oh man, did we get the rain. Fortunately, I had no damage. Well, I really haven't checked that closely, but I don't think I had any damage. I didn't see any trees or anything. I have tons and tons of trees, which is good and bad. It, you know, provides a lot of shade, but man, I've got pine trees that are at least 100 feet tall or something. Sure don't want one of those babies landing on my house. Sadly, this couple, now we're talking about a hurricane here, this couple who live in Portsmouth, which is just across the way from us, on their sailboat, took off for whatever reason Friday night. Well, I know why. They took off to get out of Dodge, and they were going to sail to Annapolis, Maryland, which is up the bay. Now this is, you know, we've got this hurricane bearing down on us, and years ago I lived on a sailboat for 3 or 4 years locally here in Virginia Beach. Actually, it was in Norfolk, and every time a hurricane was coming up the coast, everybody would gather and say, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to try and outrun the hurricane or whatever? I never did leave, and I never did leave the boat, and it got a little spooky at times, but I mean, that's not that unusual for people to take their boat and go to a safe harbor or what have you, and, you know, get out of town. That's not that unusual. I guess what was unusual is the fact, the timing of it all. I mean, they didn't give themselves much time. So sadly, what happened is they did not get very far. Their motor stopped working, and of course, they took the option. Here again, I wasn't a great sailor, by the way, so I'm surely not going to pass judgment on these folks. But they, instead of trying to sail the boat, now I don't even know if it would, well, theoretically you can sail in, I guess, almost any kind of wind, theoretically, you know, if you really shorten the sail. But for whatever reason, they anchored 800 feet, 800 yards or something off the coast. Then the boat got away from them and went into some pilings or some rocks or something. Make a long story short, they were finally rescued, taken to a shelter. And man, it's been so long since I've been around boats. I don't know what kind of boat it was, but it looked expensive. It was a 30-foot boat, but you could just tell by the number of ports and all that kind of mess. You know, it looked like an expensive boat, really nice looking boat. And anyway, we've had, I think, now I don't know if this was in our immediate area or not, but I know at least 6 people were killed. Hurricane related, killed. I think 2 or 3 gosh, were killed by falling trees, and one, I think there was a child who was only 10 or 11 years old who was killed. I guess later today they'll have something more definitive as to the winds and how much rain and all that other stuff. I feel really fortunate because the house I live in has been in my family, I guess, close to 50 years, if not 50 years. And we've never had anything really bad happen. You know, we've had stuff, you know, lots of branches, really good-sized branches, and things like that. But we have been blessed. You like that one? We have never had any flooding, which is pretty amazing. We live fairly close to the bay. Well, when I say close, you know, a mile or something, I don't know. And we live near a lake, which of course has never been a problem. But anyway, I was actually going to talk about something today, and I hope something's happening, recording or whatever. This thing, by the way, doesn't have an external mic, and it doesn't have a tripod socket. Now, why they couldn't have put a tripod socket in, well, let me look here. I see why. Because that's where the battery and all that stuff is. There's a little gizmo that you open up, a little compartment. So I can't put it on my, see my little tripod right there? So of course I can't put it on the tripod. Anyway, what I was going to talk about, and the handful of you who are sort of regulars, you notice I haven't been around for a while. Well, there's a couple of reasons, and in the next tape, which I plan on doing over the next few days, I will go into one of the reasons. The other reason is I was kind of embarrassed by that psychic crap I did. I mean, dang, that was pretty pathetic. And I apologize again to everyone, anyway. But what I wanted to talk about, yes, chiropractors again. And since I have no electricity at home, and I ended up using the my laptop, you know, the battery went kaput to charge. I don't have the exact numbers on this thing, but what I want to talk about is I had one about chiropractors, and it was number 160 something. It may have even been 167, I'm not sure. And for those of you who show up once in a while, I rarely get many people who watch my videos. This one, the last time I checked a few weeks ago, there were 560 views, and you know, for me, that's an awful lot of people. The interesting thing, this has been several months ago. How many months I don't know, but it's been a while. In other words, it sure wasn't yesterday. It's been most likely 3-4 months, maybe even longer. But I'm still getting comments, and it's almost like there's a battleground there, you know, between pro chiropractors and those who aren't. So initially, I responded to a few of them. And then there were some, and as I said, I apologize because I couldn't look at this, you know, because the computer's not working. And of course, the obvious thing is I could have waited, but I didn't want to because I'm riding around today and want to try this new camera. But anyway, and I think a couple people were like going Duke City almost on this thing, back and forth. And not that my position on anything is important, but however, it is my channel, if you will, so I will again give you my position. My position is simple. I have spent hours and hours and hours and hours reading about chiropractors and what they do. I've bought at least 2 books that is nothing more than about chiropractors. I've spent far too much time. I think you can simplify it by saying this stuff was started in 1895 by a guy with no medical training who was a grocer, who came up with this bullshit. This thing, I'm going to snap your back and you're going to be perfect and it's going to heal everything that's wrong with you. Vitalism, that energy BS, innate intelligence. I mean, and even if it wasn't that bad, you could say, well, look, this was in 1895. Would you want to go to a medical doctor who was trained in 1895 and was still practicing as he or she was in 1895? I mean, come on. This is bullshit. and they treat asthma, colic, and all this other kind of stuff. They want to adjust infants, and they want you to bring your children in and have, you know, ongoing and regular adjustments. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I most likely am never going to say another word about this damn stuff. Well, maybe. But anyway, so what I did is a fellow whose name is Bill Kinsinger. Now, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's Kinsinger. And yes, he happens to be a real doctor, a medical doctor. And no, just because he's a medical doctor doesn't mean that I throw in with everything that every medical doctor says. There's some real whack jobs out there who are medical doctors. But this guy has nailed it, and he's made it real simple. Another thing, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, I don't just dream this crap up. I have actually spent several hours going to the chiropractic schools and looking at their curriculum. They're still teaching bullshit, you know? And he's done the same thing, and he lays it all out. He's got 3 videos, a 3-part video, or whatever. And I put them on, I guess you call it my favorites. So I encourage all of you, please, go there and take a look. I mean, you know, it's amazing. And what's even worse is these people are not only do that have that damn subluxation BS, you know, they do all this other bogus crap, muscle testing and all the other stuff, that damn thing they do on your head, the cranial whatever it is, where they supposedly can tell how much spinal fluid or something is flowing through you and adjust your skull, which my understanding is, you know, after you're like a year or 2 old or however, you can't adjust anything out there. There's nothing to it. You know, it's fixed. Hey, that's it. But yet they're adjusting it. I mean, come on. I'll tell you. Open your eyes. Man, oh man. Let me see, was there anything else? I don't guess so. What I'm going to do is, that was nice, that gentleman stopped and let that lady by. You know, the stoplights are out. Hey, I didn't know this, but the 7-Elevens didn't even close down during the hurricane. And I went down real early this morning and got some coffee. I didn't know that they didn't close until I heard it on the radio. And the guy said, no, man, we never closed. Now, I don't know what we never close means. I mean, if they said there was the Ruskies were going to drop a thermonuclear device or something, I wonder if they would close. Maybe they're like the post office, man. They just keep on getting it. Anyway, that's it for now. And I'm going to be driving around town. One thing I'm doing, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, is I'm charging my my computer. I bought one of these little charger gizmos you stick in what used to be called a cigarette lighter hole. I don't know if anybody calls them that anymore, but anyway, I'll most likely be back. Well, I'll be back if nothing more than just to sign off. Take care, and as Pat Condell would say, peace, ladies and gentlemen, peace. Well, back again. I might as well give you a tour. I'm on Ocean View Avenue, and the bay is right to my left. And this used to be a really, really sleazy part of town, and they're tearing down and renovating and all of that. But this used to be just, as I said, a really bad part of town. In the 60s, let me see, I was in the service. I came back in 64. So sometime in the mid or late 60s, all over our area, Norfolk and Virginia Beach, they started opening, yes, massage parlors. And they were everywhere. And there's a section here in Ocean View further up. But I swear, every little house or every little any kind of anything was a damn massage parlor. I mean, they were all over the place. A little bit of flooding over there. Now what they've done is there was this whole section down here that, and look, you know, poor people live in places that don't cost much, and you know, and that's just the way it is. And you know, when houses, you know, sort of fall on hard times, or whatever term you want to use, then there's a nice little park over there. When that happens, you know, and of course that's, for whatever reason, that seems to breed, if you use that word, you know, the drug trade and prostitution and all the other kind of mess. But there was this whole section down here that was, I mean, really, really, really bad. And now look at this. They've cut, you know, they've just about knocked down everything. But there's this section coming up. I don't know if I'll still be taping. And I think the cheapest house in there, and some of them are like tied to each other, is $500,000. Get over there. God. And it, you know, they're trying to spruce everything up here, and in most parts they're doing a pretty good job. Some of the older places are still around, but man, was it a really bad place. And they had the you know, the motels, you know, they've been here like 8,000 years or something, just really truly seedy places. And I'm surely not passing judgment. As I said, there are lots of people who fall on hard times and have to live in those places, and that's just the nature of everything, nature of the beast. I mean, look at all these really nice places here. Yeah, they don't give these babies away. And this used to be, I guess, what you'd call a slum. Now the boarding up business, you remember we just had a hurricane, so I'm not sure what that's about. That could be the hurricane, just could be boarded up. But this is the section that I'm aiming the camera now. As I said, all those, you know, monster houses over there, and that used to just be a dreadful neighborhood. You know, just dreadful. I had mentioned that I used to live on a sailboat, and that marina was down in that area. I mean, not that any of you care why I'm wasting your time on this, assuming anyone's watching it, I don't know. And there used to be a trailer park over there. See all those apartments? That was a trailer park until about two or so years ago. And that's another sad thing, you know, a lot of folks, you know, that was their home, the trailer. And what happens when you have like 300 trailers or however many trailers, and they buy it up and make it fancy, call it Harbor Walk or something, where the poor people go who have trailers. Sheesh, sound like a liberal. Guess I am. But gee whiz, a little cleaning up of trees. Oh, and down here, down in this part, oh, there are all these strip clubs, man, like one after another. I'm not kidding. That's right, I forgot about those. They're just sort of gone by the wayside. And the irony is, in Norfolk, let me see, about, oh, I don't know, maybe in the late 60s you could have topless, I can't remember. But I know that over the last, I don't know how many years, all the babes dance with bikini tops. I mean, what's up with that? I don't think I'm exactly a pervert or anything, but why would anybody want to go to a go-go joint or whatever you call them, and the babes dancing around in bikinis? That doesn't seem like much anything. I don't think I'll oppose this one. But anyway. And, it's, you know, their military bases, you know, our whole area is sort of like a giant military base. And over to the left is, you know, is the military. That's the Marine Corps Reserve over there. And this is where they park their boats and stuff. And that's the Norfolk Airport right over there. Yep. And let me see what else. That's about it. Well, everything seems to be sort of okay around here. I don't see any trees or anything down. Now there was one section that they made evacuate, which is a section of Virginia Beach called Sandbridge, and that basically got, I believe, cut off, so to speak, because of the flooding. It's right on the bay. But, excuse me, it's that would be. Wait a minute, is that on the ocean or the bay? Whatever. No, I think it's on the ocean. Yeah. My confusion is that we have a huge bay here called Chesapeake Bay, which is gigantic, and of course that goes out into the ocean. Yeah, I think Sandbridge is on the ocean, and they've had people down there who've had to replace their houses, I believe 2 and 3 times. You know, the ones built on stilts down in the water, and so I think what I'm going to do now, I think it's still breakfast time. Yep, I'm going to head for McDonald's, continue to charge my computer, and have some breakfast and mess with the computer and get that baby charged up. I also have one of those Nooks, so I need to charge that baby up too. So anyway, I guess I'll be back if nothing more to say goodbye. Take care. Bye. Well, folks, I guess I'll call it a day here. Been riding around a little bit, and just went to McDonald's. I don't know if I mentioned that before or not. Anyway, I don't have electricity, so I went by there and had a leisurely breakfast, and plugged in my Nook and computer. So hopefully I got them charged back a little bit. I'm hoping there'll be a miracle, if you will, and I get home and I have electricity. I live in a cul-de-sac, and for whatever reason, there are 5 houses in there, and every time something happens, we lose electricity, and the rest of the street has electricity. In other words, it's just that cul-de-sac, and it's a real pain in the butt. When I left today, yep, everybody else on the main street had electricity, but we sure didn't in the old cul-de-sac. Hope this, assuming I post this thing, I hope the movement of the camera doesn't make you woozy. As I said, it's a waterproof camera, and I hope the results are good, because it's real. As I said, it's really slick. It's about the size of a credit card, more or less. So I guess that will do it for the day. Hope you guys are all well, and I guess that's it. And as Pat Condell would say, peace, ladies and gentlemen, peace.